The life of a writer is probably less glamorous than most people would believe, because you have to be comfortable being alone for hours at a time working. Actually, that aspect of the job is probably pretty appealing to people who aren't really people. Anyway, back to this film. This film is about one writer who is a depressed alcoholic. So, does Can You Ever Forgive Me deliver a believable portrayal of an individual who is depressed, who is a drunk, and who is down on their luck? Or should we just watch reruns of Mike and Molly instead? Let's talk about it in this review. The story begins by showing us the personality of writer and New York Times best-selling author Lee Israel, played by Melissa McCarthy. She is at her office drinking at her desk, going over paperwork, when her attitude towards her coworkers and presumably her boss eventually get her fired. She takes one more drink and Lee Israel has left the building. From there, the story continues to build on her personality, the world she inhabits, and her outlook on life. And this is actually where the film shines its brightest, is in its depiction of someone who is a depressed alcoholic. Overall, this is a human experience piece. McCarthy delivers a powerful performance of somebody who is on the edge, depressed beyond reason, and struggling to find her joy. She does have a pet cat that does bring her comfort and joy, until that is, of course, when the cat dies, pushing her further and deeper into emotional darkness. The character of Israel is looked at extensively in this film, and fortunately for us, McCarthy's talent is able to take us on this journey as we go through this emotional roller coaster with her. However, we don't ever really get to see Israel happy. We get, I would say, melancholy at best. Does she laugh and smile? Of course she does, but I would never go as far as to say that at any point do we ever really see her happy. I would argue that at best, we get to see her experiencing moments of happiness to help buoy her otherwise defeated spirit. So the interesting thing about this film for me is that we're exploring the life of the protagonist who is constantly in darkness. In all, I wouldn't say that I was wowed by the story as much as I was impressed with the emotional range that McCarthy is able to deliver. Unfortunately for me, the story felt longer than it actually is. The runtime clocks in at 106 minutes, which is just under 2 hours long, but the film itself felt like it was over 2.5 hours long. The progression of the story creeps by as we dive into the world that one individual inhabits during this period in their life. Where does she hang out? Who does she hang out with? What are the conversations like at every single place that she goes to? There were also scenes in this film that felt repetitive as well regarding her selling these fake documents. This wasn't montages of her just going around town selling the phony documents or anything like that. This was literally her going into every store and every appointment and having conversations that continue to further and continue to build on the relationships that we already know exist. So maybe by, instead of having her walk in and have continued conversations over and over and over about the same or similar things that aren't really developing the story, really developing and moving the plot forward, you can kind of do a montage, right? And that would cut things down. It would definitely cut the runtime down, make this a nice tight 90 minutes. Additionally, keeping with the idea of scenes that could have been cut or changed to lessen the runtime to keep it at a tight 90 minutes, we can look at the scenes where she is out with her friend gallivanting about town. These didn't really do anything to further the plot or really build out her character at all, because we know that deep down inside she's a depressed alcoholic. So all of these revelries really fell flat for me, and I don't feel that they really progressed the story forward that much. By the end of the film, we understand why some of them were important because of the book that eventually gets written, but overall we spend a lot of time seeing these moments happen when, again, just a simple quick montage probably could have told the exact same story in less time. Can You Ever Forgive Me is playing at your local movie theater right now, and I'm actually not going to recommend a big screen viewing of this film. I feel like this film and Melissa McCarthy's incredible performance can be just as enjoyable on the television screen as it was on the big screen. So because of these reasons, Can You Ever Forgive Me will only be getting one high five from this guy. Can You Ever Forgive Me is playing at your local movie theater right now. Maybe go see The Old Man and the Gun instead.